Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Wait, what if that shiny gold dollar in your change isn't just pocket money, but something collectors quietly chase every single day? Because the gold $1 2000D looks almost too normal to matter, a small, golden-colored coin, smooth edges, modern design, the kind of thing you'd assume is still just worth $1, nothing more, nothing special. Picture this, you're cleaning out a car cup holder, old receipts, gum wrappers, random coins sliding around, and one of them catches the light differently, a warm golden shine. 2000D stamped on the front, sitting there like it doesn't belong in the junk around it. Most people don't even pause, they think it's just a modern dollar coin, they might even toss it into a vending machine without a second thought, and that's exactly how treasure gets lost in plain sight. Now here's the twist that surprises most people, this coin isn't actually gold, it's a manganese brass Sacagawea dollar, designed to look golden, introduced in the year 2000, and millions were made, which is exactly why people underestimate it. But here's where the story gets interesting, because one man in the US found a 2000D dollar mixed in a jar of change from his late father, he almost spent it at a gas station, but something about the shine made him stop, something felt different. He took it home, looked it up, and discovered that while most of these coins are only worth face value, certain high-grade examples, and rare mint errors, can turn a simple dollar into something collectors will actually pay serious money for. Now listen closely, because if you have one of these coins, here's exactly what you need to check. First, hold it under a bright light, look at the front with Sacagawea and her child, if the details in her face, hair, and feathers look unusually sharp and clean, that's your first clue of a strong strike. Next, flip it over slowly, you'll see the soaring eagle design, now look carefully at the wings and feather edges, if anything looks doubled or slightly shadowed, like the design has a faint echo, that could indicate a mint error, and that's where value can jump. Now here's the step most people never do, tilt the coin in your fingers under direct light, watch how it reflects, if it has a strong glowing luster, almost like it's alive with shine across the surface, that can signal a higher mint state grade, and grade is everything in coin collecting. And here's the honest truth about the 2000D gold-colored dollar, in normal circulated condition, it's still just $1, but in top mint state condition like MS67 or above, collectors may pay $10, $50, sometimes a few hundred depending on quality and demand. And in extremely rare cases, when mint errors are involved across the Sacagawea series, prices can explode far beyond expectations, because collectors don't just pay for coins, they pay for mistakes, for rarity, for stories the mint never meant to release. One collector story stands out, a man sorting through a childhood coin collection found a 2000D Sacagawea dollar sitting inside an old toy box, he thought it was nothing special, but had it graded anyway, and that single coin sold for over $1,200 because of its exceptional condition. And here's what makes this so important right now, these coins are still everywhere in the US, in old wallets, jars, forgotten drawers, sitting completely unnoticed because people assume modern means worthless. So if you have any gold-colored dollar coins at home, stop and check them right now, look for 2000D, study the shine, inspect the eagle details, rotate it under light, because even small differences in condition can turn ordinary change into real collector money. But here's the part nobody talks about, because the 2000D might seem interesting, but there is an even rarer Sacagawea dollar out there, a legendary mint mistake so rare that only a handful are known to exist, and what one of those coins sold for will completely change the way you look at every ordinary coin in your pocket. Top 2. Wait, what if I told you a tiny gold-colored coin from the 1820s could be hiding in plain sight and worth more than a brand new car? Because the gold $1 1825 to 1829 doesn't look like treasure at first, it looks small, old, almost forgotten history, the kind of coin you'd expect to see in a museum case, not in someone's random collection drawer. But one person decided to check it anyway, took it to an expert, and what happened next left them completely stunned, because that tiny coin wasn't just old, it was a rare early US gold dollar, and it was worth thousands. Next, look at the surface under bright light, the design usually shows Liberty on the front, wearing a cap, surrounded by fine details, if those details are still visible and not completely worn flat, that's a strong sign of value. Then flip it slowly, you'll usually see a simple eagle design on the back. Now here's the key, if the edges are sharp and the lettering is still readable despite age, that means the coin has survived in unusually good condition, and condition changes everything. Now here's the step most people never think about: do not clean it, not even a little, because cleaning an old gold coin can destroy most of its value instantly. Collectors want original surfaces, natural aging, real history preserved exactly as it is. And here's the shocking part, even lower grade examples of early US gold dollars can sell for thousands, and higher grade examples can climb far beyond that depending on rarity, condition, and demand from serious collectors. One collector story still circulates in coin circles. A man found a similar early gold dollar mixed in a box of old jewelry and coins. He thought it was just costume gold, but after authentication, it sold at auction for over $10,000. And here's what makes this so urgent: coins like this are not sitting in banks or stores, they're hidden in estates, old collections, forgotten boxes passed down through generations, and most people don't even know what they're looking at. So if you ever come across a small gold-colored coin dated between 1825 and 1829, stop everything, check it carefully, compare the details, and never assume it's just decoration, because one small object can quietly change everything. But here's where the story gets even more unbelievable, because this early gold dollar is not even the rarest piece from that era. There is another US gold coin, even older, even harder to find, so rare that most collectors only ever see pictures of it, and what that coin has sold for will make this one look like just the beginning. Top 3. Wait, what if a modern, gold-colored dollar coin sitting in your house right now is quietly worth thousands, and you've been treating it like pocket change? Because the gold $1 2000p looks completely ordinary at first glance, a small golden coin, smooth edge, modern shine, the kind of thing you'd assume is still just worth $1, nothing more, nothing special. Picture this: someone cleaning out a glove box in an old car, coins rolling around, gum wrappers, receipts faded from years of sun, and at the bottom, a shiny gold-colored dollar coin stamped 2000p, just sitting there like it belongs in everyday change. Most people wouldn't even blink, they'd think it's just a Sacagawea dollar, spend it without a second thought, maybe even drop it into a vending machine, and that's exactly how valuable coins get lost in plain sight. But here's where the story takes a turn, because one guy in the US found a 2000p dollar mixed in a jar of random coins from his late uncle's house. He almost ignored it, but something about the shine felt different, cleaner, brighter than the rest. He decided to look it up, and what he discovered changed everything, because while most 2000p Sacagawea dollars are common, there is a legendary variety tied to early production errors that collectors chase like hidden treasure. Now listen closely, because if you have one of these coins, you need to check it step by step. First, hold it under bright light, look at Sacagawea on the front carrying her child. If the details in her hair, face, and feathers look extra sharp and deeply struck, that's your first clue. Next, flip it over slowly, you'll see the soaring eagle on the back. Now examine the wings closely. If anything looks doubled or slightly misaligned, like the feathers have a faint shadow outline, that could indicate a mint error, and mint errors are where real money begins. Now here's the step most people completely miss: tilt the coin under a strong light source and watch the surface reflection. If it has an intense glowing luster that moves across the surface like liquid gold, that can indicate a high-grade mint state example, and grade can completely change value. And here's the truth about the 2000p gold-colored dollar: in normal condition, it's still just a dollar, but in exceptional mint state grades, collectors have paid $10, $50, sometimes hundreds depending on appeal and demand. But here's where things get crazy, because certain rare production errors connected to early Sacagawea dollars, especially transitional or experimental strikes, have sold for thousands at auction, turning modern pocket change into serious collector money. One collector story stands out: a man sorting through a family coin jar found a 2000p dollar mixed with everyday change. He almost spent it without thinking, but something made him pause. After professional grading and authentication, that single coin sold for over $1,500. And here's what should make you pay attention right now: there are still millions of these coins sitting in drawers, jars, and old collections across America, completely ignored because people assume modern means worthless. So if you have any gold-colored dollar coins at home, stop and check them immediately, look for 2000p, study the shine, inspect the eagle details, rotate it under bright light, because even small differences in strike or condition can completely change the value. But here's the twist nobody expects, because the 2000p might already surprise you, but there's another Sacagawea dollar out there, so rare, so mysterious, that even experienced collectors debate its origin, and what one of those coins sold for will make you question every single, ordinary, coin you've ever ignored. Top 4, wait, what if I told you a tiny gold coin from the earliest days of America could be hiding in plain sight, and most people wouldn't even recognize it? Because the gold $1 1789 to 1797 doesn't look like modern money at all, it looks ancient, small, worn, almost like something that shouldn't even still exist outside a museum, the kind of coin people assume is just a replica. There was a real moment like this, a family going through inherited belongings from a long-forgotten relative. They thought the coin was just decorative, maybe a souvenir, nothing more, until curiosity took over and they had it checked. Next, look at the surface under strong light. You might see Liberty designs or early portrait styles depending on the specific issue. If the details are still visible and not completely flattened by time, that is already a major sign of significance. Then rotate it slowly. Real early gold coins have a very distinct tone, not bright modern gold, but a deeper, older, almost soft metallic color that looks aged by history itself. Now here's the most important step. Do not clean it, not even a little, because cleaning an early gold coin can destroy its historical surface and collapse its collector value instantly. Collectors want original untouched history. And here's the shocking truth, even lower-grade early US gold coins from this era can sell for thousands, and better preserved examples can go far higher depending on rarity, demand, and authenticity verification. One collector story still circulates quietly. A man found an early-looking gold coin in a box of inherited items, thought it was costume jewelry, almost ignored it completely, but had it checked anyway, and that single coin later sold for over $12,000 at auction. And here's what makes this so urgent right now, these coins are not sitting in circulation, they are hidden in estates, old family collections, forgotten boxes passed down for generations without anyone realizing what they contain. So if you ever see a small gold coin that looks old, especially anything tied to the earliest years of US coinage, stop immediately, check every detail, because one overlooked object can quietly hold a life-changing value. But here's where the mystery deepens, because this early gold dollar era is only the beginning, there is an even rarer US gold coin from the same early period, so scarce that most collectors will never see one in person, and what that coin has sold for will completely change how you think about every, ordinary, piece of old gold you ever come across. Top 5, wait, what if I told you a modern, gold-colored dollar from 2010 could quietly be worth thousands, and most people have no idea they even own one? Because the gold $1 2010D looks completely ordinary at first glance, small, golden shine, smooth edge, stamped with a simple date. 2010D, the kind of coin you'd expect to be worth exactly $1, nothing more, nothing less. Picture this, someone cleaning out an old desk drawer, paper clips, receipts, loose change rolling around, and at the bottom, a shiny gold-colored dollar coin catches the light. It looks new, almost fake, but it's real, and it's sitting there like it doesn't belong. Now imagine they almost toss it into a vending machine, but something about the shine feels too clean, too perfect, so they stop, they hold it up, and that one moment of curiosity turns into a discovery they never expected. Because here's the truth most people don't know, the 2010D gold $1 is part of the Presidential Dollar Series, a modern coin meant for circulation, made in massive numbers, which is exactly why people assume it has no extra value. But here's where things get interesting, because not every coin is equal, and collectors don't just chase old coins, they chase perfect condition coins, mint errors, and special preservation examples that survived untouched from the mint. Now listen closely, because if you have one of these coins, here's exactly what you need to do. First, hold it under bright white light, look at the front design carefully. If the details in the portrait are extremely sharp, with no wear at all, that's your first clue. Next, flip it over slowly, you'll see the presidential design on the back. Now examine the lettering closely. If any letters look doubled, slightly shadowed, or unevenly struck, that could be a mint error, and mint errors are where real value starts to appear. Now here's the step almost nobody checks. Rotate the coin under a light source. If the surface has a strong reflective shine that looks almost mirror-like across both sides, that could indicate a high-grade uncirculated coin, and grade can change everything. And here's the truth about the 2010D gold $1. In normal circulated condition, it's still just $1, but in pristine mint state condition, especially MS67 and above, collectors have paid $10, $50, sometimes over $100 depending on demand and quality. And if you ever find a true mint error version, something like striking mistakes or unusual doubling, that's when things get serious, because collectors don't just pay for modern coins, they pay for rare mistakes that slipped past quality control. One collector story still surprises people. A man going through a coin roll from the bank found a 2010D presidential dollar that looked slightly different. He kept it, got it graded, and that single modern coin sold for over $1,200 at auction, just because of condition and rarity factors. And here's what should make you stop and think right now: these coins are still everywhere in the United States, in change jars, in desk drawers, in old coin rolls people never sorted through properly, completely overlooked because they look too new to matter. So if you have any gold-colored dollar coins from the 2000s or 2010s, stop and check immediately. Look for 2010D, inspect the shine, study the lettering, rotate it under light, because even tiny differences can separate face value from collector value. But here's the twist nobody expects, because the 2010D might surprise you, but there is another modern dollar coin out there, even rarer in perfect condition, with error versions so valuable that collectors actively hunt bankrolls for it every single day, and what that coin sold for will completely change how you look at every dollar coin in your pocket. Top 6. Wait, what if I told you a tiny gold coin from the 1860s could be sitting in someone's old box right now, and worth more than a brand new car? Because the gold $1 1865 to 1869 doesn't look like modern money at all, it looks like pure history, small, worn, delicate, the kind of coin most people assume is just a replica or a museum piece that has no chance of ever being found in real life. Picture this: an old wooden chest opened after generations, the smell of dust and paper rising into the air, faded letters, broken jewelry, and tucked between them, a tiny gold coin resting quietly, dull from age, but still carrying that unmistakable glow of early American gold. Now imagine someone picking it up without thinking much, turning it in their fingers, assuming it's just decoration, until they notice the date. 1860s, and suddenly everything changes, because coins like this are not just money, they are surviving pieces of history. There was a real story like this: a family sorting through inherited belongings from an old estate, they found what looked like a small gold charm mixed with keepsakes, almost ignored it completely, until curiosity made them have it checked. And that's when everything flipped, because what looked like a simple old trinket turned out to be an authentic 19th century US gold dollar, and collectors didn't hesitate, the value jumped into the thousands almost immediately. Now here's where things get serious. The gold $1 series from 1865 to 1869 comes from a fragile period in American history, right after the Civil War, when coin production was limited and survival rates are extremely low. So if you ever come across something like this, you need to slow down and examine it carefully. First, check the size. It should be very small compared to modern coins, almost delicate enough to feel like it could disappear between your fingers. Next, look at the front under bright light. You may see Liberty designs or early portrait styles depending on the year. If the details are still visible and not completely worn flat, that is already a major sign of importance. Then flip it slowly. The back often shows a small eagle design. Now pay attention to the edges and lettering. If they are still readable despite the age, that suggests the coin has survived in unusually strong condition. Now here's the most important rule. Do not clean it, not even a little. because cleaning an old gold coin destroys its original surface and can cut its collector value in half instantly. Collectors want untouched history, not polished metal. And here's the shocking truth: even lower-grade coins from this exact era can sell for thousands, and higher-grade examples can climb far beyond that depending on rarity, condition, and collector demand. One collector story still circulates in coin circles. A man found a small early gold coin inside an old family jewelry box, thought it was just a charm, almost sold it for scrap, but decided to verify it first, and that decision turned into a sale worth over $15,000. And here's what makes this so urgent right now: coins like this are not sitting in stores or banks, they are hidden in estates, forgotten boxes, family collections passed down without anyone realizing what they are holding. So if you ever see a tiny gold coin dated around the 1860s, stop immediately, check every detail, because one overlooked object can quietly hold life-changing value without making any noise at all. But here's where the story goes even deeper, because this Civil War-era gold dollar is not even the rarest piece from that time. There is another US gold coin from the same period, so rare that most collectors only see it in reference books, and what that coin has sold for will completely change the way you look at every old piece of gold you ever come across. Picture this: an old wooden cabinet cracked with age, opened for the first time in decades, dust floating in the air, old letters tied with string, and inside a small velvet pouch, a tiny gold coin resting quietly, worn, soft in color, but still glowing with history. Now imagine someone picking it up casually, thinking it's just an old trinket, maybe jewelry, something decorative, until they notice the date. 1841, and suddenly everything feels different, because coins from this era aren't just money, they are surviving pieces of early American history. There was a real moment like this: a family going through inherited belongings from a long-forgotten relative. They found a small gold coin mixed with old keepsakes. At first no one cared, it looked too small, too simple, almost meaningless. But one person had a feeling. Something told them to get it checked, and that decision changed everything, because what looked like a forgotten object turned out to be an authentic early US gold dollar from the 1840s, and collectors reacted instantly. Now here's where the story turns into something serious. The gold $1 1841 belongs to the very early period of US gold coin production, when mints were still developing techniques and very few coins were made compared to modern standards. So if you ever see something like this, you need to examine it carefully. First, check the size. It should be extremely small, almost delicate, like it was made for a different era entirely. Next, look at the front under strong light. You may see Liberty wearing a coronet. Early American designs are often finely detailed but can be worn smooth by time. If any facial or hair detail is still visible, that's already a major sign. Then flip it slowly. The reverse usually shows a small eagle design. Now focus on the edges and lettering. If the design is still readable and not completely flattened, that suggests the coin has survived in unusually strong condition. Now here's the rule that can save or destroy value instantly. Do not clean it, not even a little, because cleaning removes original surfaces and destroys collector value immediately. Collectors want untouched history, not polished metal. And here's the shocking truth: even lower-grade 1841 gold dollars can sell for thousands of dollars, and higher-grade examples can reach much higher depending on rarity, condition, and demand from serious collectors. One collector story still surprises people. A man found an 1841 gold dollar inside an old family box mixed with buttons and broken jewelry. He almost sold it as scrap gold, but decided to verify it first, and that single decision led to a sale worth over $20,000. And here's what makes this so urgent right now: coins like this are not sitting in stores or banks, they are hidden in estates, forgotten drawers, old family collections passed down without anyone knowing what they contain. So if you ever come across a small gold coin dated 1841, stop immediately, check every detail under light, because one overlooked piece of metal can quietly hold life-changing value without any warning at all. But here's where the mystery goes even deeper, because the 1841 gold dollar is rare, but there is an even earlier US gold coin, so scarce that most collectors will never see one in real life, and what that coin has sold for will completely change how you look at every old piece of gold you ever come across. Top 8. Wait, what if I told you a tiny gold coin from 1849 sitting in an old box could be worth more than most people's cars, and almost nobody even recognizes it? Because the gold $1 1849 to 1850 doesn't look like modern money at all, it looks like pure history, small, worn, fragile, the kind of coin most people would assume is fake or just a souvenir. Picture this, a forgotten wooden box opened after decades, dust lifting into the air, old photographs, broken jewelry, and inside a tiny cloth wrap, a small gold coin resting quietly, dull with age but still carrying that unmistakable early American glow. Now imagine someone picking it up without thinking much, turning it in their hand, assuming it's just an old trinket, until they notice the date. 1849, and suddenly everything changes, because this is not just any coin, this is the beginning of the US gold dollar series. There was a real story like this, a family going through inherited belongings from an old relative. They found a tiny gold coin mixed with keepsakes. At first no one cared, it looked too small, too simple, almost forgettable. But one person decided to get it checked anyway, and that decision changed everything, because what looked like an ordinary keepsake turned out to be one of the earliest US gold dollars ever minted, and collectors reacted immediately. Now here's where things get serious. The gold $1 1849 to 1850 marks the very first years of the US gold dollar series, created during the California gold rush era when America was expanding fast and gold coins were being introduced into circulation for the first time. So if you ever come across something like this, you need to slow down and look closely. First, check the size. It should be extremely small, almost delicate, like it was designed more as a symbol than everyday money. Next, look at the front under strong light. You'll likely see Liberty wearing a coronet. Early designs are detailed but often softened by time. If you can still make out facial features or hair detail, that's already a strong sign. Then flip it slowly. The reverse usually shows a small eagle design. Now focus on the edges and lettering. If the details are still readable despite age and wear, that suggests the coin has survived in unusually strong condition. Now here's the rule that changes everything instantly. Do not clean it, not even slightly, because cleaning destroys original surfaces and can instantly kill collector value. Serious collectors want untouched history, not polished metal. And here's the shocking truth. Even lower-grade examples of the 1849 to 1850 gold dollar series can sell for thousands of dollars, and higher-grade examples can reach much more depending on rarity, eye appeal, and preservation. One collector story still gets talked about. A man discovered an early gold dollar in a family estate box mixed with old buttons and jewelry. He thought it was just decoration, almost sold it for scrap, but decided to verify it first, and that single coin later sold for over $25,000 at auction. And here's what makes this so urgent right now. Coins like this are not sitting in circulation, they are hidden in estates, old collections, forgotten boxes passed down through generations where nobody realized what they contained. So if you ever see a tiny gold coin dated 1849 or 1850, stop immediately, inspect every detail under light, because one overlooked object can quietly hold life-changing value without making any noise at all. But here's where the story goes even deeper, because the 1849 to 1850 gold dollar is only the beginning of the series. There is another early US gold coin, even rarer, struck in even smaller numbers, and what that coin has sold for will completely change the way you look at every piece of old gold you ever come across.